Bully picks on the wrong plus-sized girl. 10 seconds later, he finds out why. Tyler Johnson was surrounded by his classmates in the yard of Lincoln Middle School when he decided to put on another one of his cruel performances. Ashley Williams was walking alone toward the cafeteria when he intercepted her with that wicked grin everyone knew so well. "Hey guys, look who showed up," Tyler shouted, pointing at Ashley. The beached whale came to get more food at the cafeteria. Laughter echoed across the yard. Ashley stopped where she was, crossed her arms, and just watched Tyler put on his show. The other boys laughed, and some even clapped, as if it were entertainment. She was used to it by now, but this time there was something different in her eyes. "What's wrong, Ash? Cat got your tongue?" Tyler continued, stepping closer. "Or are you saving room in your mouth for more food?" More laughter. Tyler was at the peak of his performance when Ashley slowly walked up to him. For 10 seconds, she just stared at him in silence. Then she whispered something so quietly, only he could hear. "I know what you did with the spring carnival money." Tyler's smile vanished instantly. His face turned white as a sheet. The laughter of his classmates still echoed around them, but to him, the world had stopped. "What did you say?" he stammered, trying to keep his composure. "You heard me, Tyler Johnson," Ashley replied, now speaking a little louder. "I know exactly what you did with the $800 that went missing from the event fund." Silence spread across the yard like a wave. The classmates stopped laughing and began paying attention to the conversation. Tyler looked around, desperate. "You're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about," he said, but his voice trembled. Ashley pulled her phone from the pocket of her pink hoodie and showed the screen to Tyler. He couldn't see what was on it, but the mere mention that she had something made him break into a cold sweat. "I have it all recorded, Tyler. You take the key to the principal's office from Ms. Jenkins' keyring when she's not looking. May 15th, 2:30 in the afternoon. Remember?" Tyler swallowed hard. How did she know all this? How did she even know the exact time? "You're making this up," he said, but his voice came out weak, unconvincing. "May 15th was a Monday," Ashley continued calmly. "Ms. Jenkins went to the bathroom at 2:25. You took advantage of the empty hallway, grabbed the master key and went into the principal's office. You were in there for exactly 7 minutes. The classmates now formed a circle around the two of them. Tyler felt the weight of all those eyes on him. How did she know so many details? "When you came out," Ashley went on, "you had a different backpack, a black one that wasn't yours, and inside it was the yellow envelope with the money collected for the spring carnival." "That's a lie," Tyler shouted, but his voice betrayed his panic. "You don't have any proof." Ashley tapped her phone and turned the screen so everyone could see. On it was a video that clearly showed Tyler entering the principal's office with an empty backpack and leaving with it full. "I was in the computer lab working on an assignment," Ashley explained. "The lab window faces the hallway to the principal's office. When I saw you take the key, I thought it was weird and started recording. The circle of students grew. Now at least 20 kids were watching the revelation unfold." Tyler looked to his friends for support, but found only confused and suspicious faces. "Ash, stop this," Tyler begged, lowering his voice. "You don't understand, I can explain." "Then explain," Ashley said, putting her phone away. "Explain to everyone here why you took the money meant for the spring carnival supplies." Tyler looked around again. Everyone was waiting for an answer. He could feel his popularity slipping away with every passing second. I borrowed it," he finally said. "But I was going to pay it back. I swear I was going to pay it back." "Borrowed?" Ashley questioned. "Without asking anyone's permission? That's not borrowing, Tyler. That's stealing." The word stealing echoed across the schoolyard like thunder. Tyler saw some of his friends stepping away from him. Others began whispering among themselves. "It wasn't stealing," Tyler said desperately. "I needed the money for something important. My little sister is sick and needed expensive medicine." Ashley looked at him with an expression Tyler couldn't decipher. For a moment, he thought she might take pity on him. "Your sister, Emily?" Ashley asked. "Yeah, Emily. She has a serious condition, and the medicine costs a lot. My parents didn't have the money, and I didn't know what to do." Some of the kids around them started murmuring sympathetically. Tyler felt a flicker of hope. Maybe he could still get out of this. "What's wrong with Emily?" Ashley asked. Tyler hesitated. He hadn't thought this part through. It's a blood disorder, really rare. The medicine only comes from a special pharmacy and costs almost $1,000. "Funny," Ashley said, pulling out her phone again. "Because I saw Emily yesterday at the neighborhood park near your house. She was playing soccer with the other girls. For someone who's sick, she looked pretty lively." Tyler's stomach dropped. How did Ashley know where he lived? How had she seen Emily? She takes the medicine and feels better for a few days, he tried to explain. "Tyler," Ashley said, her voice firmer now, "do you want to stop lying? Because I know exactly what you used that money for." The schoolyard fell completely silent. Even the noise from the cafeteria in the background seemed to stop. Tyler felt like the ground might open beneath his feet. "Last Saturday, you were at the video game store in the mall," Ashley continued, "buying that Xbox you have in your room. The same Xbox you were showing off to the boys last week, saying your dad gave it to you as a gift." Tyler couldn't speak anymore. How did she know all this? How was she always in the right place at the right time to see what he was doing? "You paid $800 cash for that Xbox," Ashley said. "Exactly the amount that went missing from the Spring Carnival fundraiser. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out as we're just starting out. Now, back to it." The whispers around them grew louder. Tyler could hear words like thief and liar being muttered. His closest friends, the ones who always laughed at his mean jokes, now looked at him with disdain. "Ash, please," Tyler begged. "Don't tell anyone. I'll pay the money back, I swear I will." "How are you going to pay it back?" Ashley asked. "Are you going to sell the Xbox?" Tyler stayed silent. He had spent so long dreaming about that console, the thought of having to sell it made him desperate. I can borrow money from my dad." "The same dad you said gave you the Xbox as a gift," Ashley pressed. "Are you going to tell him you lied?" Tyler realized he had tangled himself in his own web of lies. No matter what he said now, he'd only contradict himself. "What do you want from me?" he finally asked, his voice low. "I want you to stop humiliating people," Ashley replied. "I want you to stop thinking you can do whatever you want just because you're popular." Okay, Tyler said quickly. "I'll stop, I promise I'll stop." "And I want you to tell the principal the truth," Ashley added. "No," Tyler shouted. "I can't tell Mrs. Peterson. She's going to get me expelled from school." "So what do you think I should do with this information?" asked Ashley, waving her phone. Tyler looked around. All his classmates were staring at him, some with anger, others with disappointment. He had never felt so small in his entire life. "Give me some time," he pleaded. "Give me time to figure out what to do." "How much time?" asked Ashley. "A week. Just 1 week." Ashley studied him for a few seconds. Then she nodded. "1 week, Tyler. But if you do anything against me or anyone else in that time, I'm going straight to the principal." "Fine," Tyler agreed. 1 week. The recess bell rang at that moment, and slowly the students began to disperse. But Tyler noticed many were still eyeing him with suspicion. His closest friends approached him as Ashley walked away. "Dude, is this true?" asked Ethan, one of the guys who always laughed at his jokes. "Did you really steal the money for the Spring Carnival?" questioned Mason, another friend. Tyler looked at them and saw his reputation had been destroyed in minutes. He had always been the leader of the group, the most popular, the most respected. Now he was seen as a thief. "It wasn't like that," he tried to explain. "It was more complicated." "Complicated how?" Ethan pressed. "Did you take the money or not?" Tyler didn't know what to say. Anything he said would only make things worse. "Look, let's talk about this later," he said, trying to escape the situation. "Bro, if it's true you stole, I don't want to hang out with you anymore," Mason said. "My mom always says once a thief, always a thief." Tyler felt like he'd been punched in the gut. Mason had been his best friend since 5th grade. If even he was pulling away, then there really was no hope left. "Mason, man, you know me," Tyler argued. "You know I'm not a thief." "I thought I knew you," Mason replied, shaking his head. but I guess I was wrong." His friends walked away, leaving Tyler alone in the schoolyard. He looked around and saw some students still watching him and whispering. For the first time in his life, Tyler Johnson knew what it felt like to be the target of gossip and scorn. He headed toward the classroom but passed more classmates who gave him strange looks. Some who used to greet him cheerfully now just lowered their heads when they saw him. During history class, Tyler couldn't focus on anything. Mr. Thompson was talking about the independence of the United States, but Tyler could only think about how his own life had changed in minutes. He glanced at Ashley, sitting 3 rows ahead. She seemed completely focused on the lesson, as if nothing had happened. How could she be so calm? How had she gotten all that information about him? When class ended, Tyler saw Ashley leave the room and decided to follow her. He needed to understand the situation better. He needed to know exactly what she knew and what she planned to do. "Ash," he called out in the hallway, "can I talk to you?" She stopped and turned to face him. "What do you want, Tyler?" "I want to know how you found all this out. How did you know where I lived? How did you know about the Xbox?" Ashley stared at him for a few seconds before answering. "You think I'm invisible, don't you?" she finally said. "You think just because I'm different, just because I'm not popular like you, I don't see what's happening around me." "That's not it," Tyler protested. "Yes, it is," Ashley replied. "You all think I'm just the fat girl you can humiliate whenever you want. But I have eyes, Tyler. I have ears. And I pay attention to things." "But how did I know about the Xbox?" interrupted Ashley. "Because you were bragging about it to everyone." "How did I know where you live?" "Because we live in the same neighborhood, Tyler. We always have. You just never noticed me." Tyler fell silent. It was true. He had never paid attention to Ashley except when he wanted to humiliate her. "And the money?" he asked. "How did you know I took it?" "I told you I was in the lab working on an assignment. I saw you take the key and I thought it was weird. When you left the room with your backpack full, I got suspicious. Then it was just a matter of connecting the dots." "But why did you record it?" "Because I had a feeling," Ashley replied. "You're not exactly known for doing the right thing, Tyler." Tyler felt offended, but he couldn't deny she was right. "What are you going to do now?" he asked. "I'll wait for you to do the right thing," Ashley answered. "You have a week to go to the principal's office and tell the truth." "And if I don't?" "Then I will," Ashley said simply. "And I'll take the video with me." Tyler knew she was serious. There was something in her voice, in the way she looked at him, that made it clear she wasn't bluffing. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. "Why didn't you just turn me in right away?" Ashley was silent for a few seconds, as if thinking about her answer. "Because everyone deserves a chance to do the right thing," she finally said. "Even you." With those words, she walked away, leaving Tyler alone in the hallway. He stood there for a few minutes, trying to process everything that had happened. When he got home that afternoon, Tyler was mentally exhausted. His mother, Jennifer, was in the kitchen making dinner when he walked in. "How was school today, sweetie?" she asked without looking up from the pot. "It was fine," Tyler lied. "You seem down. Did something happen?" Tyler thought about telling his mother everything right then. He thought about unloading the whole situation he was in, but when he looked at her, cooking dinner with such care, he couldn't. "I'm just tired," he said. "I'm going to my room." In his room, Tyler turned on his Xbox and tried to distract himself with a game. But not even his favorite games could take his mind off what had happened. Every time he looked at the console, he remembered Ashley's words about how he had paid for it. His 8-year-old sister, Emily, walked into the room without knocking. "Ty, can I play?" she asked in that sweet voice that always made him give in. "No, Em, not in the mood," he answered, still playing. "Please," and she insisted. "Just for a little bit." "I said no," Tyler snapped, louder than he meant to. Emily flinched at his tone and ran out of the room crying. Tyler felt even worse. Now he was taking his frustration out on his little sister, who had done nothing wrong. At dinner, he barely touched his food. His parents tried to talk to him, but he answered in monosyllables. Jennifer grew worried and asked if he was sick. "I'm fine, Mom," Tyler said. "Just not hungry." "Are you sure nothing happened at school?" she pressed. "I'm sure." His father, Michael Johnson, who worked as a mechanic, studied him carefully. "Son, if you're dealing with something, you can tell us. We're here to help." Tyler almost told them everything right then. He almost confessed about the money, about Ashley, about how his life had turned upside down. But when he imagined the disappointment in his parents' eyes, he couldn't. "It's nothing, Dad, just tired." That night, Tyler barely slept. He tossed and turned, thinking through every possibility. He could tell his parents the truth and ask for help returning the money. He could go to the principal and confess everything. Or he could try to convince Ashley to stay quiet. But deep down, he knew the third option was the least likely. There was something about Ashley's determination that made him believe she would actually follow through on her promise. The next day at school, Tyler noticed the news had already spread. Not all the details, but enough for people to know something was going on. He could hear whispers as he walked down the halls, could see curious glances directed his way. During recess, he approached Ashley again. "Did you tell anyone?" he asked. "I didn't have to," she replied. "Half the school was in the yard yesterday when it happened." "But you didn't give more details." "Tyler, I gave you a week. I'm not going to spread the details around before then, but I also can't control what other people are saying." Tyler looked around and saw that there really were a lot of people watching them. The situation was getting harder to control. "People are looking at me like I'm a criminal," he complained. "And how do you think I feel every day when you humiliate me in front of everyone?" Ashley shot back. Tyler had no answer. He'd never thought about it that way. "That's different," he tried to argue. "How is it different?" Ashley asked. "You embarrass me in front of everyone, make me feel small and humiliated. How is that any different from what's happening to you now?" Tyler fell silent. For the first time, he was experiencing the downside of being the center of attention, and he didn't like it one bit. "I never thought about it like that," he finally admitted. "Yeah," Ashley said. "Maybe it's time you start." That day, Tyler ate lunch alone. His friends avoided him, and he didn't have the courage to approach anyone. Sitting at an empty table in the cafeteria, he watched Ashley eating with two girls whose names he didn't even know. She seemed normal, talking and even laughing with her friends. How could she stay so composed in the middle of all this? How could she be so strong? After school, Tyler decided to follow Ashley home. He needed to understand more about the girl who had turned his life upside down. He kept his distance, careful not to be seen. Ashley lived in a simple but well-kept house, 3 blocks from his. Tyler hid behind a tree and watched as she went inside. A few minutes later, an older woman with grey hair came out of the house and walked toward the school. Tyler recognized her immediately. It was Mrs. Peterson, the school principal. But what was she doing at Ashley's house? Then it hit him. Mrs. Peterson was Ashley's grandmother. How had he never noticed that before? Now he understood how Ashley had access to certain information, how she knew things that happened at school. This discovery made him even more nervous. If Ashley told her grandmother, who was the principal, everything, his situation would get even worse. Mrs. Peterson had known him since he was little and had always considered him a good student. Finding out he was a thief would be a shock to her. Tyler went home more confused than ever. The discovery about Ashley's connection to the principal had complicated things even further. Now he understood how she'd gotten some of her information, but he also realized he was in an even more delicate position. That night at dinner, his mother pressed him again about his strange behavior. "Tyler, I won't stop asking until you tell me what's going on," Jennifer said. "This isn't like you." "What isn't, Mom?" "Quiet, no appetite, sad. You're clearly worried about something." Tyler looked at his parents and Emily, who were watching him curiously. For a moment, he thought about telling them everything. He thought about unloading the weight he'd been carrying. "It's just a problem at school," he finally said, "but I'll handle it." "What kind of problem?" asked Michael Johnson. "An issue with some classmates, nothing serious." "Tyler," his mother said in that tone he knew well, "if you're being bullied or something like that, you need to tell us. We can talk to the school." It's not bullying, Mom, it's something else. What else? Tyler sighed. His parents wouldn't stop pressing until he gave a convincing explanation. It's about a girl, he lied. A girl I like. Jennifer and Michael Johnson exchanged a knowing look. Emily made a face. Oh, so that's it, Jennifer said, smiling. First crush? Yeah, something like that, Tyler admitted, feeling awful for lying. And she doesn't like you back? His dad asked. I don't know, it's complicated. Son, at your age, it's normal to feel confused about these things, Michael said. But remember, the most important thing is to treat people with respect, whether you like them or not. His father's words hit Tyler like an arrow. Treat people with respect. That was exactly what he hadn't done with Ashley all these years. I know, Dad, he said, lowering his eyes. If you want to talk about it, we're here, Jennifer said. And remember, always be honest. Honesty is the foundation of any relationship. Once again, his mother's words struck him deeply. Honesty. That was exactly what he wasn't giving anyone. Not his parents, not his friends, not even Ashley. That night, Tyler stayed up late, thinking about everything his parents had said. They had always raised him to be honest and respectful. How had he become someone who could steal and humiliate others? Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. On the third day after Ashley's revelation, Tyler felt more isolated than ever at school. His old friends avoided him, and he didn't have the courage to approach other groups. During recess, he stayed alone in the yard, watching the other kids have fun. That's when he saw Ashley walking toward him. How are you? She asked. How do you think I am? Tyler replied without looking at her. I imagine not too great, Ashley said, sitting beside him on the bench. It must be hard being without your friends. Why are you being nice to me? Tyler asked, finally meeting her eyes. After everything I did to you? Ashley stayed quiet for a few seconds, thinking. Because I know how it feels to be alone, she said finally. And no matter how badly you treated me, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Tyler was surprised by her answer. He'd been cruel to her so many times, yet she still showed him compassion. I don't get you, he said. Why aren't you taking the chance to humiliate me now? Because it wouldn't solve anything, Ashley replied. It would just create more pain and anger. But I deserve it, Tyler said. After everything I did to you, I deserve to be humiliated. Tyler, do you know why I never fight back when you humiliate me? Ashley asked. Why? Because my grandma taught me that responding with anger only breeds more anger. That real strength is refusing to stoop to the level of those who hurt us. Tyler realized she'd mentioned her grandmother. This was his chance to confirm his suspicions. Your grandma sounds like a wise woman, he said. She is. She always says we should be the example we want to see in the world. Where does she work? Tyler asked, trying to sound casual. In education, Ashley answered vaguely. Why? Just curious. Ashley studied him carefully as if trying to figure out his intentions. Tyler, did you find out something about me? She asked directly. Tyler was surprised by the blunt question. He hadn't expected her to be so perceptive. What do you mean? You've been asking weird questions, and yesterday I saw you near my house. Tyler felt his face grow warm. She'd noticed he followed her. I was just passing by, he lied. Tyler, you live in the opposite direction, Ashley said. Why were you in my neighborhood? Tyler realized he'd been caught. There was no point in lying anymore. Fine, I followed you, he admitted. I wanted to understand who you are better. And did you find anything interesting? Tyler hesitated. Should he tell her he knew about her connection to the principal? I saw your grandmother, he finally said. And? I recognized her. It's Mrs. Peterson, isn't it? The school principal. Ashley smiled for the first time since they'd started talking. Yes, she's my grandma, and before you start thinking that changes anything, let me explain something. She doesn't know a thing about what happened between us. What do you mean? She doesn't know about the money, the video, or our conversation. I don't tell her about school problems because I don't want to mix our family relationship with her job. Tyler was confused. If Ashley hadn't told her grandmother anything, how had she gotten some of the information? But then how did you know certain things? He asked. What things? About the key, where the principal's office is, the schedules. Tyler, I've been at this school for 6 years, Ashley said, as if it were obvious. I know every corner of this place. And about the key, anyone who pays attention knows where Miss Jenkins keeps it. Tyler felt stupid. He'd assumed Ashley had inside information because of her grandmother, when in reality she just paid more attention than he did. And you really didn't tell your grandma anything? He asked. I didn't, and I don't plan to, unless you force me to. What do you mean? If you don't do the right thing by the end of the week, I'll have to tell someone, and the most appropriate person would be my grandma, since she's the principal. Tyler's stomach dropped. The thought of facing Mrs. Peterson and confessing his mistake terrified him. Ashley, please, he said, don't tell her. She'll be so disappointed in me. And why does that worry you? Ashley asked. You didn't worry about disappointing me when you humiliated me. It's different, Tyler protested. How is it different? Because you're just... Tyler stopped before finishing, realizing what he was about to say. Because I'm just what, Tyler? Ashley asked, her voice colder. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Yes, it was. You were going to say I'm just some schoolmate, while Mrs. Peterson is someone important to you. Tyler stayed silent. That was exactly what he'd been thinking. You know what your problem is, Tyler, Ashley continued. You think some people are more important than others, that some deserve respect and others don't. It's not like that. Yes, it is. To you, I was never important enough to deserve respect, but Mrs. Peterson is important, so you care what she thinks. Tyler realized she was right. He really did treat people differently based on how important they were to him. Maybe you're right, he admitted. Not maybe, I am right. And that's exactly why you need to learn this lesson. What lesson? That everyone deserves respect, no matter who they are or how they are. That you can't just go around humiliating people because you think you can. Tyler stayed quiet, absorbing Ashley's words. She was right, and deep down, he knew it. What do I need to do for you, not to tell your grandmother? He finally asked. You need to do the right thing, Ashley replied. You need to go to her and tell the truth. But that's the same as you telling her. It's not. It's very different. If I tell her, you'll just be the boy who got caught stealing. If you tell her, you'll be the boy who had the courage to admit his mistake. Tyler had never thought of it that way. There really was a difference between being reported and turning yourself in. And if I do that, will you destroy the video? He asked. If you do it and face the consequences of what you did, yes. I'll destroy the video. What consequences? Whatever Mrs. Peterson thinks is appropriate. It could be suspension, expulsion, or having to pay the money back. You'll have to accept whatever decision she makes. Tyler swallowed hard. The possibility of expulsion terrified him. How would he explain that to his parents? What if she expels me? Then you'll have to deal with it, Ashley said. But at least you'll deal with it as someone who had the courage to own up to their mistakes. The bell signaling the end of recess rang just then. Ashley stood up to go to class. Do I still have 4 days to decide? Tyler asked. You do. But Tyler, think carefully about what I said. Sometimes doing the right thing is hard, but it's always the most important decision we can make. With those words, she walked away, leaving Tyler alone with his thoughts. That afternoon, Tyler couldn't focus on anything during class. Ashley's words echoed in his mind. Do the right thing. Own up to your mistakes. Treat everyone with respect. When he got home, he found his mother in the living room sewing some clothes to help with the family's income. How was school today? Jennifer asked, not looking up from her sewing. It was eye-opening, Tyler replied. Eye-opening how? Tyler sat on the couch beside his mother. Mom, how do you know when a decision is right or wrong? Jennifer stopped sewing and looked at her son carefully. That's a deep question, she said. Why are you thinking about that? It's about that situation at school I told you about. The situation with the girl? Tyler hesitated. He had lied to his mother about the real problem, but now he realized he needed real advice. Mom, if I tell you the truth about what's going on, do you promise to hear me out before getting mad? Jennifer sensed something serious was happening. She set the sewing aside and turned fully to her son. Tyler, you can tell me anything. I might be sad or worried, but I'll always listen to you first. Tyler took a deep breath. It was time to start being honest. It's not about a girl I like, he said. I mean, it is about a girl, but not the way I told you. What do you mean? I did something really wrong, Mum. And now this girl knows, and she's giving me a chance to fix it the right way. Jennifer's heart raced. What could her son have done? What wrong thing, Tyler? Tyler looked down at his hands, then met his mother's eyes. I took money that wasn't mine, he said quietly. What do you mean, you took money? From school. It was money from the spring carnival. $800. Jennifer was stunned. She never imagined her son could do something like that. Tyler, are you telling me you stole money from school? I didn't think of it as stealing at the time, Tyler said quickly. I thought I'd pay it back, but then time passed and what did you use the money for? Tyler hesitated before answering. To buy the Xbox. Jennifer closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she opened them again, Tyler could see the disappointment and sadness in them. Tyler, how could you do something like that? She asked, her voice trembling. I don't know, Mom. I wanted that video game so badly, and when I saw the chance, I didn't think it through. And this girl? How did she find out? She saw me taking the money, recorded everything on her phone. And now she's blackmailing you? No, Tyler said quickly. She's not blackmailing me. She's giving me a chance to do the right thing. What do you mean? She said, if I confess to the principal, she'll delete the video. If I don't, she'll show it to the principal. Jennifer stayed silent for a few minutes, processing everything she'd heard. Tyler, do you understand how serious what you did was? She finally asked. I do now. At the time I didn't think, but now I get it. You stole money that belonged to all the students. Money that was supposed to be used for a spring carnival everyone was looking forward to. I know, Mom, I feel terrible. And you lied to your dad and me. You said the Xbox was a gift from your dad. I know. I'm sorry. Jennifer stood up and started pacing the room. Tyler could see she was really shaken. Mom, what should I do? He asked. What do you think you should do? She replied with another question. I think I should confess to the principal. But I'm scared. Scared of what? Scared of getting expelled. Scared of disappointing you even more. Scared of having to tell Dad everything. Jennifer stopped pacing and looked at her son. Tyler, you've already disappointed us. You did that the moment you decided to steal the money and lie to us. Now you have the chance to start making it right. How? By doing the right thing, owning up to your mistake and facing the consequences. What if I get expelled? Then you'll have to deal with it. You'll have to find another school and work hard to earn people's trust back. Tyler felt his eyes fill with tears. The reality of what he'd done was finally hitting him fully. Mum, I ruined everything, he said, starting to cry. Jennifer stepped closer and hugged him. You made a serious mistake, she said, stroking his hair. But you haven't ruined everything yet. There's still time to do the right thing. How will Dad react when he finds out? Your dad will be very disappointed, but he'll also be proud if you have the courage to admit your mistake. What if the school expels me? Then we'll handle it together. We'll find a solution. But first, you need to do the right part. Tyler pulled back from his mom's hug and looked her in the eyes. Do you think I should tell the principal? I think you already know the answer to that, Jennifer said. And I think deep down, you always did. Tyler nodded. His mom was right. He'd always known what the right decision was. He'd just been too scared to make it. When are you going to tell Dad? He asked. Tonight, Jennifer replied. After dinner. And tomorrow, the three of us will go to the school together. All three of us? Of course. Did you think we'd let you face this alone? We'll be by your side, Tyler, not supporting what you did, but supporting you to do the right thing. Tyler felt a mix of relief and terror, relief for finally telling someone the truth and terror for what was coming. Mom, do you think that girl will really delete the video if I confess? From what you've told me about her, I think so. She seems like an honest person. She is way more honest than me. And how did you treat her before all this? Tyler lowered his head, ashamed. Badly, really badly. I bullied her. Tyler, I know, Mom. I know it was awful. That's why I get why she could have turned me in right away. But she didn't. She gave me a chance. And why do you think she did that? Because she's a better person than me. Or because she saw in you the potential to be a better person, Jennifer suggested. Tyler looked at his mother, surprised by the perspective. You think so? I think good people recognize kindness in others, even when that kindness is hidden under layers of fear and insecurity. Fear and insecurity. Tyler, do you think confident people need to humiliate others to feel good about themselves? Tyler had never thought of it that way. Was all the bullying he'd done really a result of his own insecurities? I never thought about it like that, he admitted. It's something for you to consider, Jennifer said. But first, let's deal with the current situation. That night, after dinner, Jennifer told Michael everything. As she had expected, he was deeply disappointed, but he also showed pride in Tyler for having the courage to tell the truth. Son, Michael said, his voice serious, what you did was very serious. Stealing is a crime, and lying to your family breaks the trust we have in each other. I know, Dad, Tyler replied, his eyes downcast. But the fact that you told the truth shows there's still hope for you. It shows you still have a conscience. What happens now? Tomorrow we're going to school and you'll tell the principal everything. You'll return the Xbox to the store and use that money to pay back what you took. What if they won't buy it back? Then we'll sell it to someone else. The important thing is that you take responsibility for what you did. Tyler nodded. It was exactly what he'd expected, but it was still hard to accept. Dad, do you think you'll ever be able to forgive me? He asked. Michael looked at his son for a few seconds before answering. Tyler, forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or pretending nothing happened. Forgiving means giving you the chance to make things right, to become a better person. And will you give me that chance? I will, but you'll have to earn our trust back, and that will take time. How much time? That depends on you. It depends on how you behave from now on. Emily, who had stayed quiet the whole time, finally spoke up. Ty, why did you do it? Tyler looked at his little sister and saw the confusion in her eyes. How could he explain the complexities of his actions to an 8-year-old? I wanted something really, really badly, Em, and I ended up doing something wrong to get it. But Mum and Dad always say we can't take things that aren't ours. That's true, and I knew that. But I did it anyway. Why? Because sometimes people do wrong things even when they know they're wrong, and that's why they feel sorry afterward. Are you sorry? Very sorry. Then it's okay, Emily said with the simplicity of a child. When I do wrong things and feel sorry, Mom and Dad forgive me. Tyler smiled for the first time in days. Sometimes a child's innocence could simplify even the most complicated situations. Thanks, Em, he said, hugging his sister. That night, Tyler slept better than he had since everything began. He was still nervous about what would happen the next day, but at least he no longer carried the weight of lying to his family. The next morning, Tyler woke up early and stayed in his room, organizing his thoughts. Today would be the day he faced the consequences of his actions. During breakfast, his parents were quieter than usual. Everyone knew it would be a difficult day. Are you ready? Jennifer asked. I don't think I'll ever be completely ready for this, Tyler replied, but I know I have to do it. That's the right attitude, Michael said. They arrived at school an hour before classes started, as they had agreed. The office was empty with just a few staff members preparing for the day. Good morning, Jennifer said to the secretary. We'd like to speak with Mrs. Peterson. It's about a very important matter. Let me see if she's arrived yet, said the woman, heading toward the principal's office. A few minutes later, Mrs. Peterson appeared. She was a woman around 60 years old, with graying hair tied in an elegant bun and kind eyes behind her glasses. "Good morning, Johnson family," she said. "How can I help you?" "Mrs. Peterson," said Michael Johnson, "our son has something very important to tell you." The principal looked at Tyler carefully. "Of course. Let's go to my office so we can speak more privately." In the principal's office, Tyler felt even smaller. He had only been there a few times before, always to receive praise for his grades or for participating in school events. He never imagined he'd be there to confess such a serious mistake. "So, Tyler," said Mrs. Peterson, sitting behind her desk, "what do you need to tell me?" Tyler looked at his parents, who gave him an encouraging smile, then turned his attention back to the principal. "Mrs. Peterson," he began, his voice trembling, "I did something really wrong, and I came here to confess." "I'm listening," she said, her expression serious but not threatening. "2 weeks ago I took the money from the Spring Carnival fundraiser, $800, and I used that money to buy an Xbox." The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Mrs. Peterson stared at him, absorbing what she had just heard. "Tyler," she finally said, "are you telling me you stole money from the school?" "Yes, ma'am," Tyler replied, his voice barely audible. "How did you get access to the money?" "I took the master key from Ms. Jenkins when she wasn't looking. I went into her office and took the envelope from the drawer." "And why did you decide to come forward now?" Tyler hesitated. Should he mention Ashley in the video? "Because I couldn't live with the weight of this lie anymore," she said, "and because someone made me realize I needed to do the right thing." "Someone?" "A classmate. She found out what I did and gave me the chance to confess before reporting it." Mrs. Peterson slowly shook her head. "And where is the money now?" "It was used to buy the Xbox," said Michael Johnson, "but we'll return the console to the store and use the refund to replace what was taken." "I see," said the principal. "Tyler, do you understand the seriousness of what you've done?" "I do, Mrs. Peterson. I know I stole money that belonged to all the students. Money that was meant for a celebration everyone was looking forward to. And do you understand this could have very serious consequences for your school life?" "I do, and I'm willing to accept whatever punishment you think is appropriate." Mrs. Peterson was silent for a few minutes, thinking. "Tyler, in 30 years of working in education, I can count on one hand the number of times a student has voluntarily confessed to such a serious mistake," she said. "That speaks very much in your favor." "Thank you, ma'am. But it doesn't lessen the severity of what you did. You broke the trust of the school, your classmates, and your family." "I know. I'll need a few days to decide on the appropriate punishment. In the meantime, you're suspended for a week, and I want the money returned by the end of this week." "Yes, ma'am. And Tyler," Mrs. Peterson added, "I want you to write a letter of apology to all the students in the school. A letter explaining what you did and asking for forgiveness." Tyler swallowed hard. The thought of exposing himself to the whole school terrified him, but he knew he deserved it. "Yes, ma'am. And I want you to tell me who this classmate is who found out what you did. She deserves recognition for doing the right thing." Tyler hesitated again. He didn't want to involve Ashley more than necessary. "It's Ashley Williams, from my class." Mrs. Peterson looked surprised. "Ashley? My granddaughter." "Your granddaughter?" asked Jennifer, surprised. "Yes, Ashley is my granddaughter," the principal confirmed, "and she never told me anything about this." "She said she wouldn't mix school problems with your family relationship," explained Tyler. Mrs. Peterson smiled for the first time during the conversation. "That's so typical of her. Ashley has always been a girl with strong principles." "She was very generous with me," said Tyler. "She could have reported me right away, but she gave me the chance to do the right thing." "And you took that chance," said the principal. "That speaks well of your character, despite the mistake you made." When they left the school, Tyler felt strangely relieved. He was still nervous about the consequences to come, but at least he no longer carried the weight of the secret. "How do you feel?" asked Jennifer. "Scared," admitted Tyler, "but also relieved." "It's normal to feel that way," said Michael Johnson. "You did the hardest part, which was confessing. Now the rest is just dealing with what comes next. They spent the rest of the morning at the store where Tyler had bought the Xbox. Fortunately, the manager agreed to accept the return, even without the original box, since the product was still in perfect condition. $800, said the manager, counting the money. Tyler looked at the bills being placed in his hands. It was strange to think that money had caused so much trouble. "Let's take it straight to the school," said Michael Johnson. Back at school, they handed the money to Mrs. Peterson, who made sure to count it all in front of Tyler. $800, correct, she confirmed. The money will be returned to the Spring Carnival Fund. "Will there still be time to hold the event?" asked Tyler. "Yes, there's still time. Fortunately, it's only scheduled for next month." Tyler felt a little better knowing his actions hadn't completely ruined the school's plans. "Mrs. Peterson," he said, "can I do something to help organize the carnival, as a way to make up for what I did?" The principal looked at him approvingly. "That's an excellent idea, Tyler. I'll think of some ways for you to contribute." As he was leaving the school, Tyler saw Ashley arriving for class. She saw him with his parents and seemed to understand what had happened. "Excuse me," Tyler said to his parents, "can I talk to Ashley quickly?" "Of course," said Jennifer. "We'll wait in the car." Tyler approached Ashley. "I did it," he said simply. "Did what?" "I told your grandmother everything, and my parents. I returned the money." Ashley smiled, and Tyler realized it was the first time he'd seen her genuinely smile. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Scared, but relieved, and grateful." "Grateful?" "Grateful that you gave me the chance to do the right thing. You could have reported me right away, but you didn't. You gave me the opportunity to learn something about myself." "And what did you learn?" "That I was a worse person than I thought, but also that I can be better than I was." Ashley studied him for a few seconds. "Tyler, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why did you bully me? What did I do to deserve it?" Tyler's stomach tightened. It was a question he knew he'd have to answer eventually. "You didn't do anything," he said. "Absolutely nothing. I did it because it made me feel powerful. And because I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" "Afraid that if I wasn't the popular guy, the funny guy, no one would like me. So I put others down to feel superior. And now I understand that popularity based on humiliating others isn't real popularity. It's just fear in disguise." Ashley nodded. "Tyler, I'll delete the video," she said. "You kept your part of the deal." "Thank you. But I want you to know something. I didn't delete the video because you confessed. I deleted it because you understood why it was wrong." Tyler smiled. "Ashley, I know I can't undo everything I did to you, but I can promise you I'll never humiliate you or anyone else again." "That's the best apology you can give me," she said. "And if one day you forgive me, maybe we can be friends?" Ashley looked at him for a few seconds before answering. "Maybe," she said. "But first, you need to show you've really changed." "How?" "By being a better person, treating everyone with respect, using your popularity for good instead of hurting others." "I don't have popularity anymore," Tyler said. "After all this, no one wants to hang out with me." "Then it's the perfect chance for you to figure out who you really are when you're not hiding behind a mask." With those words, Ashley walked into the school, leaving Tyler alone with his thoughts. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. Tyler's week of suspension was one of the hardest of his life, but also one of the most important. Without the distractions of school and friends, he had time to really reflect on his actions and who he wanted to be. During those days, he wrote the apology letter Mrs. Peterson had asked for. It took several drafts before he could properly express his regret and his determination to change. Jennifer helped him with the letter, suggesting some tweaks to the wording and structure, but the content was entirely Tyler's. "Read it to me," she asked when he finished the final version. Tyler picked up the paper and began. "Dear classmates, teachers and staff of Lincoln Middle School, my name is Tyler Johnson, and I'm writing this letter to apologize for something very serious I did. A few weeks ago, I took $800 from the Spring Carnival fundraiser without permission. I used that money to buy something for myself, knowing it was wrong. I know what I did was theft. I know I betrayed your trust. I know the money I took belonged to the whole school community and was meant for a celebration everyone was looking forward to. I have no excuses for what I did. I can't say it was a moment of weakness or that I didn't know it was wrong. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I chose to do it anyway. But I want you all to know I'm deeply sorry. I've returned all the money, and I'm willing to accept whatever punishment the school thinks is appropriate. I also want to apologize for other things I've done over the years. I've humiliated classmates, bullied others, and used my popularity to hurt people instead of helping them. I understand if you can't forgive me right away. I understand if you don't trust me anymore. But I hope that in time, through my actions, I can show I'm capable of being a better person. From now on, I'll work every day to earn back your trust and respect. Sincerely, Tyler Johnson. When he finished reading, Jennifer's eyes were glistening. "I'm proud of you," she said. "This letter shows you truly understand the gravity of what you did. Do you think it'll make a difference?" "I think it'll make a difference for you, and eventually it'll make a difference for others too." At the end of his suspension week, Tyler returned to school. Mrs. Peterson called him into her office before classes started. "Tyler, I've decided on your punishment," she said. Tyler's heart raced. "You'll be suspended for 1 more week. When you return, you'll be on restriction for a month. No recess, no extracurriculars. You'll spend those periods in the library studying or assisting the librarian." "Yes, Ma'am. Besides, you'll do community service at the school for 3 months. You'll help with cleaning, organizing events, anything we need." "Okay. And your letter will be read during recess today for the whole school." Tyler swallowed hard. That was the part that terrified him the most. "Lastly," continued Mrs. Peterson, "I want you to join a peer mediation program we're implementing. You'll help resolve conflicts between students and give talks about bullying and its consequences." "I don't know if I'm the right person to give talks about that," said Tyler. "On the contrary," replied the principal, "you're exactly the right person. Who better to talk about the consequences of bullying than someone who's been both a bully and a victim?" Tyler had never thought of himself as a victim, but he realized Mrs. Peterson was right. Over the past few days, he'd experienced what it was like to be rejected and judged by his peers. "All of that sounds fair," he said. "Tyler, I want you to know I believe in you," said Mrs. Peterson. "The fact that you came forward to confess voluntarily shows there's a good person inside you, waiting to come out. Thank you for giving me this chance." "Thank my granddaughter. If she hadn't given you the opportunity to do the right thing, you probably would have kept carrying this burden alone." During recess, Tyler stood in the courtyard while the assistant principal read his letter over the school's PA system. He could feel everyone's eyes on him, could hear the murmurs and comments. When the reading ended, the courtyard fell silent for a few seconds. Then, gradually, conversations started up again. Some students approached him, some to criticize, others to show support. "Dude, I can't believe you did that," said a boy Tyler barely knew. "At least he had the guts to admit it," defended a girl. "That doesn't change the fact he's a thief," remarked another. Tyler listened to all the comments without reacting. He knew he had to accept his classmates' reactions, whether positive or negative. That's when he saw Ashley walking toward him. "How are you holding up?" she asked. "Surviving," Tyler replied. "It was worse than I imagined, but not as bad as it could have been." "People will forget," said Ashley. "With time, they'll judge you by your actions from now on, not by what you did in the past." "You think so?" "I do. But you'll have to work hard to earn people's trust back." "I'm willing to do that." Just then, Mason, Tyler's former best friend, approached. "Ty," he said, "I read your letter." Tyler tensed up. Mason had been one of the first to reject him after the truth came out. "So?" Tyler asked. "So, I think you were brave. You messed up bad, but it took guts to own up to it. Does that mean you forgive me?" Mason hesitated. "It means I'm willing to give you a chance to prove you've changed. but it'll take time before I trust you again." "I understand," said Tyler, "and I'll work to earn your trust back." "Thanks, man. And just so you know, I've done things I regret too. Never stole money, but I've humiliated people, been cruel to classmates. Your letter made me think about that." Tyler was surprised. He'd never considered that his actions could make others reflect on their own behavior. "Thank you for giving me this chance," he said. "Don't mention it. But just to be clear, if you go back to being the same jerk as before, our friendship is over for good." "I won't go back," Tyler promised. In the days that followed, Tyler began his community service at the school, sweeping hallways, cleaning bathrooms, organizing books in the library. All things he once would have found humiliating, he now saw as a chance to make things right. During one afternoon in the library, he found Ashley studying alone. "Can I sit here?" he asked, pointing to the chair beside her. "Of course," she replied. They sat in silence for a few minutes, each focused on their own work. "Ashley," Tyler finally said, "can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why did you never fight back when I bullied you? Why didn't you ever report me before?" Ashley stopped writing and looked at him. "Because my grandmother taught me that true strength isn't about fighting back, but about keeping your dignity even when others try to take it from you." "Didn't it hurt?" "Of course it hurt. It hurt a lot. Sometimes I'd come home crying and stay in my room for hours." Tyler felt a sharp pang in his chest, imagining Ashley suffering because of his actions. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I'm sorry for causing you so much pain." "Tyler, you've apologized many times. What matters now is showing you've really changed." "How can I do that?" "Use your influence for good. When you see someone being humiliated, stand up for them. When you see someone who needs help, help them." "But I don't have any influence anymore. No one respects me." "Respect can be earned back," Ashley said. "And when you do, it'll be real respect, based on who you truly are, not who you pretended to be." A few weeks later, Tyler got his first chance to put Ashley's words into practice. He was in the schoolyard when he saw a group of older boys picking on a fifth-grade girl. The old Tyler would have ignored it or even joined in. But the new Tyler stepped forward. "Leave her alone," he said firmly. "Well, well," one of the boys sneered. "Look who showed up. The little thief wants to play hero." Tyler's face burned, but he didn't back down. "What I did or didn't do has nothing to do with this. You're bothering her, and that's not right." "What are you going to do if we don't stop?" another boy challenged. "I'll get a teacher," Tyler replied simply. The boys laughed. "Oh, now you're a snitch too?" "If that's what it takes to protect someone, then yes," Tyler said. At that moment, the girl took advantage of the distraction and ran off. The older boys, seeing the situation had lost its appeal, walked away, grumbling. Tyler stood there for a few minutes, reflecting on what had happened. For the first time in a long while, he felt good about himself. "Thank you," a voice said behind him. He turned and saw Ashley. "Did you see what happened?" "I saw everything, and I'm proud of you." "Why?" "Because you did the right thing even knowing you'd be judged for it, even knowing they'd use your past against you." "It's what you taught me," Tyler said. "Doing what's right, no matter the consequences." "I didn't teach you that," Ashley replied. "You already knew. You just needed to find the courage to act on it." Over the following months, Tyler kept proving his change through small actions. He helped classmates struggling with schoolwork, stood up for those being humiliated, and actively joined the school's mediation program. Slowly, he began earning back his peers' respect, not the same kind he'd had before, based on fear and shallow popularity, but genuine respect rooted in character. One day, about 6 months after the whole incident, Tyler was in the library when Ethan, one of his old friends, approached. "Ty," Ethan said, "can I talk to you?" "Sure," Tyler replied, looking up from his book. "I wanted to apologize," Ethan said. "Apologize for what?" "For ditching you when you needed me most. I know what you did was wrong, but I should have supported you to do the right thing, not abandoned you." Tyler Johnson was surprised. He hadn't expected that apology. "Ethan, you didn't do anything wrong. It's normal for people to pull away when they find out a friend did something bad." But true friends stay to help, they don't run away, said Ethan. And now, seeing how you've changed, how you've become a better person, I regret not being by your side. You're here now, said Tyler. That's what matters. Can we be friends again? Tyler smiled. Of course, but now it'll be a different kind of friendship. One based on who we really are, not on masks or popularity. That's exactly what I want, said Ethan. Gradually, Tyler regained other friends. Not all the old ones, some never fully forgave him, but he made new friends, people who met him after his transformation and admired who he had become. A year after the money incident, Tyler was preparing for 8th grade graduation. During that time, he had become one of the leaders of the school's anti-bullying program, helped dozens of classmates in conflict situations, and maintained excellent grades. At the graduation party, his classmates chose him to give a speech on behalf of their class. Dear classmates, teachers, and families, Tyler began, standing on the school auditorium stage. Today is a day of celebration, but for me, it's also a day of reflection. Many of you know that a year ago, I made a serious mistake. I stole money from the school and humiliated classmates for years. I'm not giving this speech to ask for forgiveness again. I've done that many times. I'm giving this speech to share with you what I've learned. I've learned that our actions define who we are. I've learned that every day we can choose what kind of person we want to be. I've learned that true courage isn't in humiliating others, but in defending them. And I've learned that it's never too late to change. I want to especially thank one person who taught me all this. Ashley Williams, thank you for giving me the chance to do the right thing. Thank you for believing I could be a better person. Tyler looked at Ashley, who was seated in the front row with the other graduates. She smiled and gave an almost imperceptible nod. And to all of you here today, Tyler continued, I remind you that we all have the power to choose. We can choose to be people who build or people who tear down, people who help or people who hurt. The choice is always ours. May we carry the lessons we've learned here into high school and into life. May we be people we're proud of when we look in the mirror. And may we never forget that true greatness lies in how we treat those who seem to have less power than us. The auditorium erupted in applause. Tyler saw his parents in the audience, tears in their eyes and proud smiles on their faces. He saw Mrs. Peterson, who was also clapping enthusiastically. After the ceremony, during the party, Tyler approached Ashley. So, he asked, can we be friends now? Ashley looked at him for a few seconds before answering. Tyler, we've been friends for a long time, she said, since the day you had the courage to do the right thing. Thank you, said Tyler. For everything. Thank you, Ashley replied, for showing me that people can really change. They danced that night as friends, under the emotional gazes of their families. Mrs. Peterson watched from afar, proud of both her granddaughter and the boy who had transformed into a better person. Years later, Tyler and Ashley would become speakers at schools, sharing their story as proof that forgiveness and change are always possible. They showed young people across the country that no matter how serious the mistake we make, we can always choose to be better people. Tyler never forgot the lesson he learned that day in the schoolyard, when a brave girl whispered the words that changed his life. I know what you did. But more importantly, he never forgot the second lesson that came afterward, that true greatness lies in giving others the chance to do the right thing. End of story. And what did you think of this story of transformation and forgiveness? Tell us in the comments which part moved you the most and whether you believe Tyler made the right decision. Also share your own reflections on bullying and second chances. Your likes and subscriptions to the channel help us so much in continuing to bring stories that touch the heart.